Well, it's D-Day in Anambra State today, and of course, we've talked about this for how many months now? For as long as I can remember. And all of the build-up, all of the insecurity issues, all of the challenges, all of the unrests, all of the emergency call comes to this day. So let's go straight to Awka now and join Seun Okinbaloye and the team. Well, Seun, you look to me like you're looking very, very cool, calm and collected, no gun to your head. That's a good sign, isn't it?
We hope not. You might not be feeling the heat where you are right now. You are in the cool, in the cozy area of the studio. But yeah, it was a very clement weather we experienced few hours ago. But the sun is coming out now, and the sun is shining on us in the light of the nation, Anambra State, where people of the state are coming out for this election. First and foremost, before we get talking with some of the people that will be telling us about what they've seen and how the assessment of the exercise, let me give you a very close detail of what is happening and what we can see. So this is what is happening. Basically, the process started at about 8:30 a.m. And so you can see this is what the ballot looks like, the ballot paper. This is what it looks like. You can see right here. 18 political parties. All right. And so this is what, again, what the voter register also looks like. You know. So the first thing you do, okay, so you have a successful, could you show that to the camera quickly? That is, Ayo, that is the new technology INEC has introduced to this exercise, the beavers that will capture and allow for accreditation. So that is what is going on right now. So let me also show you, these are some of the police officers that are designated here. But take a look. The ballot is sealed here. It will be removed after the exercise is over, hopefully at 2:30 p.m. So this is what happens at first. When any voter come here, they go straight to the voter register pasted on the wall. Then they come there where I took you first to the officials where they get accredited, and you can see you join the queue, and the queue is as much as you can see. So this queue is supposed to be populated until 2:30 p.m. when nobody can go in. And so when you've done all of that, this is the cubicle where you get to vote. The ballot paper, you take it, you put your thumb on the stamp here, and you get to vote and put it right here. So there is a voter that is going to do just that now. So take a look at him, and he's exercising his franchise. So when he does that, then he takes it straight that way, and he goes right there and casts his ballot. It looks so simple, isn't it? All right. So, great. So, Alaro and Ayo, there is another polling unit down over there. Okay, so you can see down over there, there is another polling unit. We have about 4 polling units right on this spot. And so people can choose and find where their polling unit is. Don't forget that about 81,000 of those polling units are not going to be active just yet. But let me bring in some of those who will give us their assessment of election observer. I have a friend here, and of course NLB, also a friend she is the convener of the election situation room with us today. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady. Let me begin with you, Miss Obi. So far, you've gone around with your colleagues. What have you seen? What is your assessment so far?
I think it's quite encouraging. Everywhere is peaceful. Voters are turning out. I think earlier in the day, people were just gauging, but now we can see a lot of people trooping out. And, but we have gotten some reports from, different quarters. A few of the stations, there were reports that the beavers was not working. But it has been rectified because we are following up with reports. We're getting, escalating it to INEC, and some of them, we have gotten reports that they have been resolved. And so voting is continuing in those destinations. some of the areas did not receive early. Some of them, they reported that INEC was not yet on ground, but the security people are on ground, and a few others. But as we follow up, within the hour by hour, we find out that they are resolving the issues as well. And so we are receiving reports from different local governments.
Ezenwa, you've been here before the voting started. It does look like maybe people were not going to come out. But in the last 1 hour, has anything changed for you?
Well, I always say that we're uncharitable to ourselves. Uncharitable because the level of investment that civil society has put into Anambra elections, we should be able to see the value and the gain. And part of that value is that our expectation is that more and more people will continue to come out. It's early in the day. The time is still a bit stretched. We are hoping that those who went to their farms or something will quickly come out. And they are testing also. They are trying to find out, is he holding, is he not holding? But I think generally for me, I have a sense of fulfillment and gratitude to Anambra for heeding our call, listening to us, and defying all the odds that has been thrown on their way to making today a reality.
Because if you look at it in any ways, it's good to work with facts, with statistics. Anambra people have not done so well in terms of coming out to vote. The last time it was about 25% of voter turnout 4 years ago. But this time around, do you think, from what you have seen, for me, I was a bit skeptical. Although we've been here about 6:30 a.m. when we're setting up and all of that. But I mean, at about 8 o'clock, you just see people, a few handful of people, trickling in. But now it does look like we've seen a busier polling center. Right, and this is a very densely populated area. This is Amobia. In fact, this particular voting environment is Amobia 1. It has about 10 polling units. But give me an understanding of what you make of the last few minutes of how people are coming in. You think that is encouraging so far?
I'm standing here and watching them, and I think I'm getting more excited. Because I'm just watching people trooping in. And it's happened in the last few weeks. When you want to organize a meeting, a lot of people are gauging themselves. But you find out that their confidence is building. When those who go will tell others. And I'm just watching them trooping in here, and that's really encouraging. So we encourage those who are at home, get up and pick up your card and go to vote. Because once you have been accredited, you just go straight and vote. And I'm seeing it in a very fast, I think it's an improved system.
But interesting thing, Anna and Ezenwa, is the fact that earlier on there are reports about the beavers not working. But as soon as we take the camera closer to the polling unit, what we see is successful. It's interesting that a few times that we have moved towards the accreditation point, it was successful. It went well. And you look at the minutes, it does look like, from your assessment, I'd like you to also tell me the timing for how long it takes for you to get accredited and vote. Has that closed up? No, compared to the last election.
Yes, it's closed up a bit. It's closed up a bit. Like we said, everything that we have done and tried to do is to see how we can make election a little bit more competitive, friendlier, and accessible to a greater number of people. And collaborating, civil society collaborating with the Independent National Electoral Commission is helping to is paying off. But convener, my excitement really is about the women. At every point in time, I think we are not talking enough about that. The investment that women do for democracy is some of the things that we see in the polling unit. Across the polling centers that I've watched, I've seen enthusiasm. I've seen much more women. But you see, our work as civil society is to look at the process. We are looking at 4 people, 4 sets of actors in this process. INEC, did they set up on time? By the time I came to see you at about to 8 o'clock, we had seen in many places that setup had already taken place, and the officials and the way they have conducted themselves discharged their responsibilities. We've seen the security agencies. We've not seen a lot of madness that we used to see in the past. I think we should encourage them to be more civil, more professional, and more friendly. you know, because that itself is what is going to inspire the confidence for people who are watching and looking out to come out. But we are here. I don't know what it is in the 21 local governments, and I hope that this is a representation of what we expect.
One of what you're saying is if Theophilus, one of my cameraman, can actually go to the canopy over there. That is one of the measures that the voters have created here. They brought a canopy for the elderly, okay, so this is another very interesting. There is an elderly woman that is being helped. This is what we're talking about, isn't it? Exciting thing when you see the aged, and they said considerations to be given to this sort of people. Exciting moment when you see this sort of citizen, elderly citizen, who is coming to exercise our franchise. Very excited. And you see women, they're having their chat. They have their bottle of drink.
Those who will govern Anambra must not take this for granted.
Absolutely.
It is important that they don't take this investment for granted.
Absolutely.
And we must do all that because, I mean, there is no show and support for democracy than the picture that we're seeing there.
Absolutely. It's the elderly. That woman should not be less than 75 or 80 years, and she's come this far with a walking stick and making sure that she exercises on franchise. What does that make? How does that make you feel, Annie?
I think it makes if you take the vote of an elderly woman and you misuse it, you put a curse on yourself. Such an elderly woman, so dedicated and walking slowly and all that. But the INEC guideline, I think that has helped as well.
Absolutely.
The guideline to say if you are elderly, if you are pregnant, if you have a baby, if you are physically challenged, you know, you are given priority. I think that is excellent.
Absolutely.
We didn't have that in the past, which made people to queue and to move on. If you are pregnant, you know, I think those are the priorities. And I see excitement in the faces of the women. Though we are not having any woman governorship candidate, and I think that's appalling. Political parties need to do something, and women can actually form their own party and contest. And so our own is to encourage them. But I've been quite excited, you know, with the turnout, with the mode of operation in terms of go quickly, you do your voting, and then you move aside, and you know, all of those things are quite encouraging. We have reports in some quarters, just a few places that up till now, you know, just a few that, you know, INEC has not arrived. People are gathered, INEC has not arrived, you know, a little bit of tension, but the good thing here is that we are escalating it immediately. The situation room is escalating it, and we have the hotlines. Hotlines are on ground. All of the deployment that we have made, we are responding, and INEC is responding. We are shifting it, you know, to the right places and even to the rec and others. I think that's the collaboration that is happening. The meetings that INEC had before with the political parties, the civil society, the media, and then going over to the security, the couple of meetings that we had to get to understand, because we're watching, you know, earlier, you know, who are those carrying, you know, guns and all of those things. You find out that within the police environment, nobody is carrying guns. But outside, of course, they need to protect the environment as well. But we are, so far, we haven't seen violations yet.
There's one thing that, before I go back to Lagos, that I'd like you to look at. We've had conversations around the positioning of the cubicle, or the voting cubicle. When the issue, it was an Ekiti election, when the issue of vote buying came up, and INEC was saying, oh, we're going to change the positioning of the cubicle. Do you see, can this comply with that kind of that development to forestall any kind of vote buying? Because what happens at the time was people take a picture of the ballot and they show it to someone who is standing by to pay them for it. But if you look at the positioning of the cubicle, what's the assessment?
Well, we've talked about the secrecy of the ballot, and it's important that people can vote without the feeling that somebody is watching them. I think this has captured that. It's helped to be able to, it's covered all the sides, so except the person is deliberately wanting to do that. But in terms of how the cubicles are constructed, the secrecy of the ballots seems to be guaranteed.
And the security is looking at them, watching them moving. What we are seeing from here is that nobody is going close.
Yes.
No, nobody is going close to them. And so that should continue to be encouraged. Nobody follow them in all of the other polling stations that we have gone to. Nobody, unless you go and motivate somebody from somewhere, but not here. So we hope that INEC will maintain this transparency and accountability as well.
Okay. Ayo, Alero, you're watching from a distance not so far away from your screen. But well, this is so far we can tell you. You have independent observers who have given us an assessment of what the situation is. That's what we're reporting. And of course, you know that we're live not only in Awka, we're live in every senatorial district of Anambra State.
Well, just before you go, from your assessment, what has the turnout been like?
Well, turnout is a very tricky thing because you see people coming in, but at the end of the day, you may not be able to measure until after. But it was a very discouraging one earlier. But it does look like, it seems people were watching their television, and they're watching and they're wondering, oh, look at what is happening on China's television. There's really no problem. People were talking about how they're voting. They see elderly, they see the young coming out, and it does look like people are now started coming out. In the last 1 hour or so, it started picking up, and it looks like maybe people waited to have breakfast before they come out to exercise that energy and the strength to be able to thumbprint on a ballot. I think they've garnered that, and they're out. Alero.
Okay, all right then, Joe. Thank you.
Well, yeah, just one quick one, Shil. So does it then mean that all of the hula-baloo about insecurity was just all noise?
Well, I mean, Ayo, the situation in relation to security in Anambra State is not a rumor. There are facts. People were attacked, things happened, incident happened, people were killed, and that created that kind of scare. I mean, when elections are just a few weeks away, and you see that sort of situation, it gave a lot of people scare about the situation. But it does look like the reactions of government, the reaction of security agencies, the words that were said by the president, the words that were given by, assurances given by the security commanders, gave some sort of assurances, renewed the hope in the process, and people are coming out, and it does attention. There are about 35,000 police personnel, police alone, not talking about NSCDC, the military, FRST, SSS, and all of that. I mean, this place is loaded, pumped with different security agencies, and it's interesting. I don't know if you have about 30 seconds, Ayo. Let me just give you a sense again of what is happening before I toss back to you. So, if you look at it, these are police officers. 3 of them are allowed in this environment to monitor the exercise. And you can see, if you look at people who have brought their umbrellas just to shield themselves if the weather decides to be unfavorable. And so if you come with me just a moment, let me show you the other side of this, so you see what is happening here. So this is another polling unit. It's not as populated as you find on the other side. So look at it. People are there and doing their voting. And on that side is a few people buying and selling, people under the canopy that are brought for the community, and people are just relaxing. The elderly, you see them just relaxing and doing their thing. Ayo, Alero, that is what we can see as of now, right here.
One thing that you have only just exposed again what I would call the election value chain, showing us all of the things that are possible and the things that happen. Having monitored elections for so many years, Sheon Akimbaloye, I'm almost certain that we should start to expect, or anytime soon, expect you to write a book on elections in Nigeria. Maybe that time will come. But for now, thank you very much for the wonderful work you're doing. And please keep the work going. We're still live with you from time to time, okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.